Hello from me, Dina Marais. I'm the founder of Soul Purpose Publishing and Coaching. I'm a certified quantum leap transformation coach, specializing in soul alignment, supporting you to create your dream business and life in harmony with your soul essence, and host of the Soul Purpose Bliss podcast. Wherever you listen or watch this, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. And before we start, I want to remind you to get my free ebook, Cultivate Soul Alignment to Manifest Your Dream Life and Business at bit.ly/Dina Soul Alignment.
Oh.
Wow, today my special guest is Dr. Travis Fox, the architect. And he has been the CEO for Travis Fox Incorporated, and now the Ultimate Business Quest. He has doctorates in psychology and clinical hypnotherapy. He's also a 5-time Emmy nominee and winner, over 25 Telly Awards for production, and most recently co-producing and co-starring in Beyond the Secret, the long-awaited sequel to The Secret, and as well as How Thoughts Become Things, and still much more. Wow. Welcome to the Soul Purpose Business Bliss podcast, Dr. Travis.
Thanks for having me. Okay, well, that, every time I hear the intros and they introduce me, I go, are you talking about me? Are you talking about was that me they're talking about? Oh, wow. It's always weird to hear, some of your life path read back to you while you're still living. And it's I really appreciate it, because I get a chance to go, wow, we've done some pretty cool things, haven't we?
Absolutely.
But then immediately I shift like anybody else. I'm like, yeah, we've done some cool things, but these are all the things I need to go finish. So it's a really cool experience to have that. Thanks for letting me be the part of the show.
Well, that's awesome. So you are what I would say aligned.
Thank you.
With source energy. And it's an honor to have you. And I'm really delighted for my audience as well. So can you give us a little bit of a background of how you discovered your soul purpose?
Tragically, accidentally, and I ran into a few walls before I got the hint. It's really kind of the short answer. The long answer is, like many people, I grew up thinking this is what my life was supposed to be. This is who I am. This is who I'm going to be. And that really was kind of implemented from about the age of 5 for me. When I was born in Phoenix, Arizona, but I did the first part of my life in Japan and came back here around 4.5 to 5. And my father put a golf club in my hand. And that's how my relationship with my father was founded. And it really became the base plate of everything. How we communicated or not communicated, and did we relate or not relate, always revolved around golf in some form or another. So it really became our foundational play. And then I was off to Germany for about 3.5 years, and then came back when I was 10, and my parents separated. And so golf really became my only communication tool with my father. I didn't know that at the time, but at the time, I'm just like, hey, Dad, I'm playing golf. I'm going to go to college. We're going to do the PGA Tour. We're going to win the Masters. I'm going to be the greatest golfer that ever lived, like that kind of thing. I was a really good golfer. And around 17, university was looming. But then I decided to make a soul choice, and that was to become a father for the first time, which was not my conscious intention, but clearly, as we know, my conscious mind had nothing to do with it. And I went from being, my life is planned out, this is what's going to happen, to I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I feel completely lost. And I went in, as I always tell people, what has made me a great head coach for the last 31 years is I was a head case first. So I went down this rabbit hole, and the image of who I thought I was going to be cracked wide open. And now all of a sudden I'm a father, and that doesn't really go well when you're trying to go to university, or much less try to get on the tour. And I cracked emotionally. And I cracked because my heart got broken, and I had all the mental training in the world at that time, at least for sports, but I had no idea about emotional training. Even though I'd been through trauma as a child, it's kind of like it just suck it up, get over it was almost this mentality, just kind of keep moving on. And we all kind of are programmed from that point of view, but that's not how it really goes, as you ultimately well know. That's when I actually met my mentor, because I was actually looking for psychological help. But my
Mm.
intention when I went in was, hey, you guys need to fix this cabeza up here in my head,
Fix
because
me.
my golf games, yeah, you got to fix this thing real fast. I don't know what's wrong with it, but tinker some things around, change some parts, do what you got to do. My golf career is going down the drain like now, and I don't know what to do about that. Well, that's when I met my mentor, who really introduced me to the world of psychology, introduced me to the world of subconscious modalities, introduced me to the shadow subconscious, really introduced me to, here's how we are actually work as human beings.
Mm.
And in that order, it's a being human was the real order that he taught me, was let's get the order right first. And it's like, oh, okay. And that's when I discovered that I had been playing golf for the last de facto 20 years for my father. It had nothing to do with me. Yeah. Not even just please him. It was the only way I could talk to him. I mean, my father was still very emotionally traumatized from the divorce of my mother, even though they co-created it. He was still carrying a lot of emotional discord. We'll leave it at that for simplicity. So the only way we could quasi-relate was golf. Well, the moment I said, hey, Dad, I don't really want to be a PGA Tour golfer. I like the game, but I don't love it. I love watching people wake themselves up. I love understanding how we hypnotize ourselves. I love understanding what an audience can do when they're collaborative together emotionally. And I'm going to go pursue this path, and I'm going to go, get my degree in this. And of course, that just didn't go well with my father's plan. And so my father and I had a really tumultuous spirit. But that was the first period, that first experience is where I discovered, wow, I'm playing this for him, but this is what I really love. And so I chose what I love. Made our relationship a little more challenging for a while, I'd say. And then I'd say the second one in brevity was when my third child was born. And that was when I was in my young 30s. By that time, I was Dr. Fox. Now, here's the funny thing, talking about soul purpose. My soul was aligned, but now my head got involved again and said, oh, okay, but this is what a doctor's supposed to look like, okay? This is how you're supposed to sound on television. This is how you're supposed to sound on film. You're supposed to have your stuff all together. You've always got to be, dressed well. It's got to be presented. You're on stage, you're on film, you're that guy, right? But on the inside, I was a tumultuous mess. I'm like, I have no idea. I'm making crap up as I go. I don't know. Yeah, I got all these letters after my name that say I'm a doctor, and I've got all these degrees, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out there, I'm staging, I'm talking to everybody and having a great time, having a lot of fun. But some of the questions that came across my desk were powerful, that I felt that a cognitive way or a mind way of becoming aware, kind of aware of awareness for that definition, really didn't work. And that's when it really set me on the path of the second big awareness, was when I realized my third child was autistic. And so all of my communication skills, all of the Dr. Foxisms just cut right in half, because I had no idea how to talk to an autistic child. None. Both my older two children are both neurotypical. And so, like, in a beautiful way, my second and one of my greatest teachers happens to be my third child, my second son. And he helped me crack open the personality of who Dr. Fox was without all of that. And that's what set me on the path of the last 16 years of what we do at the Quest. Was, wait a minute, somewhere along the line, we as humans forget that this is still an experience called life. Right? Yes. And we forget to have fun, and things become serious, and we become adults. And I'm not talking about Peter Pan complex, although that's fun too. I'm talking about just making everything fun, because you understand the great and simple truth. And it took me a long time to get, even though I've been teaching it, to really understand it and be it. More importantly, you're not getting off this planet alive. Nobody is. I don't care who you are, rich, poor, male, female, it don't matter. And any other illusion that we tell ourselves is a de facto self-hypnosis, which I've spent 30 years and over a million people work with. How do we do it to ourselves? And my purpose became, how can we make business fun again? How can we understand who we are? Meaning, how am I showing up? Not who we are like you've got it all figured out, because you're never a changing being. That's what's really cool, is you're creating all the time. Whether you're aware of it or not, well, that's a whole nother story. But you can become aware of it, and that becomes this adventure too. And make business fun again, show you how you show up, show your customers show up, and really turn it into a game. Because when you understand it from a game and it's fun, well, now success becomes easy. Failure is not that big of a deal, because it's not failure, it's a trial and error thing.
Yeah, it's not about
talking to people. What's that?
And I say, it's not about you.
Well, yeah, it is, but it isn't.
Yeah,
right? It
but
is
what I'm
about
saying
you.
is we tend to take things personal. If things go wrong,
Oh,
it's about us. I'm not good enough.
oh,
It's that is to actually make that separation. I always tell my clients as well. It's the issue at hand.
uh-huh.
It's not about you if someone says no. They say no to what you are offering them. So what is it about that? And isn't it interesting that when we separate ourselves from that, then we can actually ask questions. Then we are not so emotionally involved in someone rejecting us or rejecting our product. We can actually have an open, more objective discussion about how can we improve it, isn't it?
Yeah, and what's interesting, you talk about objectivity versus subjectivity, which is a big common theme in what we look at, right? Because objectively, I can look at it from a this conscious perspective and go, oh, it's not personal. But subjectively, you're right. If I haven't gone here, right, which is we call level 3, or you can call that the shadow if you want, simplicity. If we haven't really gone there, yeah, you're right. It sounds like we're doing this objectively, but the truth is subconsciously, we're still doing this. But the problem is we're not aware of it. So we end up fighting ourselves. We become this 1 foot forward, 1 step back, 1 foot forward. And it becomes this maddening experience for people. And where it really simplifies for me, and I'd love to share it with you, and I'd love your thoughts on it in return, is it's a sequencing issue. We've all been programmed, find your purpose, find your soulmate, find your passion. Well, there's a key word that's a thread, and that's called find, which means, hey.
It's already here.
Right. But even then, we have been taught mind, body, spirit. That's the sequence. Here's the problem. Mind can't solve itself. So we never get past our mind. It's very rare that people actually be able to jump through and get into what's going on down here in my subconscious. What did I think about my dad's comments? And why did I think about this person? Or why did I create that? And then taking deep ownership and going, what's the emotion that's really driving my behavior? And the simple formula is to go, look, it's what you care about. Emotionally is what you think about, whether you like it or not. It's what's going to happen. And what you think about drives your behavior. Creates this caring. Now you got this loop. The problem is if it's what you're caring about is worry, stress, anxiety. I know I'm a card carrying member too, because I'm an OCD perfectionist, in recovery. That's why golf and I don't get along, because I was like, this is madness. When you look at the truth of what your mind likes to do and you go, well, but if it's mind, body, spirit, I never get to body. I certainly don't really connect with spirit very often unless it's traumatic, because trauma does put us into the fight or flight mechanism. Here's the challenge with that. When we're in fight or flight mechanism, we stop breathing. And I mean that literally and figuratively. Yeah, we literally stop breathing, both figuratively and experientially. And guess what happens when you do that? Well, your subconscious is still recording. So when you stop breathing, you are literally allowing that experience, that emotional imprint, goes right to your subconscious. And then it's like snapping out of a dream. Yeah. And then now you've got this new pattern that you just picked up. Oh, no. And then you go to the emotional level and you realize, oh gosh, that filter objectively was created because I haven't gone down and found these emotions that I was told I'm not allowed to feel, or I need to, not take it personal, or I need to emotionally disassociate. But yet, ironically, and again, so I love the show, and why it's so great to do it is, yeah, you're told that and you're programmed that, but down here in who you are is emotional. Otherwise, what's the point of living? What's the point of living? Who cares?
That's also the supply chain of the mind. I call it always the supply chain of the mind. And for me is, once people understand that, I think I'm sure you agree. I think the biggest thing that holds people back is ignorance. That they become so hypnotized and at the mercy of their mind is because they don't understand how it works. And if they understand how it works, what are the elements, what are the components? And if I change anything here, then I'm going to change. If I change my thoughts or the way I look at it, the way we make meaning, then I'm going to change how I feel about it. And then I'm going to take a different action, and then I'm going to have a different result. But most people want to start it sort of at the back end. They want to start with changing the result and try harder, do more and work harder instead of what is the cause behind this.
Well, I agree with you 100%. I'm a little different on the sequencing. I believe you still have to feel the emotion first before you change your directive thoughts, because directive thoughts try to change thoughts. Course. Yeah. And again, not from a contrarian point of view, but not from a contrarian, but more of like, okay, this is that little refinement. But to your point specifically, it's like, wait a minute. if I don't know what I'm really feeling and I'm not comfortable going down there yet, what's a base plate that I can constantly drop into and no one needs to teach? Well, the only one that has been constant that I found in 31 years and my 3 times around the world, other great coaches like you, and I just go, it's really simple, guys. You can do all the law of attraction you want. You can do all the, journaling and all these things that are externally objective, but it hasn't changed anything here. So let's solve this problem. What if you change the filter, both mentally and emotionally, and not in that order, that everything is fun? Because fun, no one needs to teach you how to have it. No one needs to show you how to do it. You've been having fun since you came on the planet. What you've taught yourself is to not have fun. Yes. And you got hypnotized to believe you needed to be an adult and you've got to look this way. Who cares? That's not an experiential experience that anybody wants to have in work or business or relationship or whatever. Even doing a podcast. Who cares what time the podcast is? You want to have fun? Then go have fun with the dang thing and stop holding you back, because the truth is you're the only thing that's holding you back. Exactly. I know I spent a career doing it and I dedicated the rest of my life going, well, that was a fun venture. I don't think that's fun anymore, holding myself back. What if I were just to go live and have fun? And people go, well, Trav, you can't do that. I'm like, says who? Who says you can't have fun? We have board meetings. Our board meetings look like they're insane. Like you literally think you're at a circus. Why? Because we all acknowledge that we're misfits who have been trying to fit into a system, who finally realized that our mastership was in the misfit that we are. And we went, wait a minute. Guys, we've spent 30 years. We have over 110 years collective experience between the 4 quest masters in their respective field, myself included. Well, wait a minute. We're not having fun. What the heck? And yet we're asking people to go live their most abundant life and draw it into the universe. I'm like, we are so full of crap. We need to reorganize ourselves, and we reorganized the whole system and we gamified and said, why? Because here's the truth. If it's not fun, you ain't going to do it. I don't give a crap if you pay $100,000 or you pay 2 bits to have some coach or a mentor or an app or an experience tell you how to find your passion, purpose. You're not going to do it. I don't care. I've done it 1,000 million times. I've like you. I've on stage my whole life, film and television. So what? The base plate is you're still a little kid that says, hey, you see that pool out there? Yep. I understand it's 50 degrees or it's 0 degrees Celsius, but it's a pool. I'm going to go jump in. Your parents say you're going to freeze. You're still going to do it. But when your parents said, hey, you need to do your chores, take out the garbage, you did it. But you associated that with work. Even if you got an allowance for doing those chores, your brain programmed, that's work, that sucks, I don't want to do it, I have to do it, which is why our relationship with money is based on obligation versus having fun. And we don't do that. We know it cognitively, but we're fitting in these roles of, well, you're a female, I'm male, and I'm a 50-year-old adult, and we're and we got all these boxes. And I'm like, well, I'm just really curious. Who said you had to get older? Who said it? Because I've never met they. I've heard a lot about they. Well, they is the most prolific, hypnotist I've ever met, who I've never met. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Who are these they people? I'm like, I've got doctorates. Who are they? How do they rule the earth? Can someone show me where they are? Did I get the ticket to the wrong show? And so just to back me go, we are such good creators, but we are so programmed to create what we don't want.
Exactly. Right? Yes.
So when you put it in fun, here's the formula. And again, no shortcuts. You're going to do the journey, but you're going to have fun doing the journey. It doesn't have to be heavy and tumultuous. And I've got to spend 6 years of some Gestalt experience screaming into a pillow because my dad didn't give me enough hugs when I was 9. Okay, you can, but that's probably going to become not fun after about 10 minutes. And then you're going to leave it there and move to something else in that search. So when we realize we're addicted to the search, because we're programmed to be, find your passion, find your purpose, find your partner, find your soul path, find. Well, there's generally not a map that goes along with that. So you spend most of your life banging your head against a wall, thinking it's going to become a door. All right, that's the first one. The second one is when I change the sequence and go, wait a minute, it's body or emotion, right? Then my being, my physical house, and then mind, and I do the sequencing different. This thing changes automatically. It's just a computer, but it gets its programming from, like you said, the emotional level. But I'm too chicken to go, well, I'm happy today and I want to be optimistic. That's why Norman Vincent Peale in his famous book in the 1950s said, learned optimism, because you have to learn it. That's not how this thing's built. You have to learn it.
For that.
Right. And learning to be optimistic sucks. because our mind doesn't want to be optimistic. It's not built that way unless it's programmed from the inside out. But we've also been told that if we go inside, it's got to be this really big, deep kumbaya. I've got to go sit on the mountain and have an orange robe and shave my head and be dedicated to the spiritual path of righteousness, which I guess sounds fun, but I've done that journey. It was fun for about 3 weeks. And I went, I'm not that interested in this. I love the process, but I don't want to sit on a mountain and just, be by myself, because I enjoy me, but I enjoy other people because I want to see how other creators are creating. That's the adventure of it. And so when we put it all together, and it took us 2 years to put the quest together in the metaphoric journey, how we teach archetypally, how we walk you through it. And yes, you are going to change yourself, but you're going to find out that you can do it through fun, stop your addiction to the search. And now when you meet other people, you can immediately see how they show up and start to relate from a completely different frame. And it starts with the base plate of everything becomes fun. And if it's not fun, no one needs to tell you whether it's fun or not. You already know.
You know,
you're the best coach in town. So our job is not to coach you. Our job is to guide you through the quest, have you have the experience. And at the end, your own journey shows up, because who the hell are we to tell you how to have the experience? We are just mapping a blueprint so that you fill in the experiences you want, given to where the rules are of what we think we know in humanity experience. And it changed everything. Now, I will tell you point blank, there has been some pitfalls. One of the pitfalls we experienced on the sole purpose of the quest is corporations love it. They love the objectivity of it, love the experience, love the structure of it. People love it. Entrepreneurs love it. Everyone loves it. And then all of a sudden there's this subtle realization of, oh, wow, that's me. That's my company culture. That's how I approach people. I'm like, but if you look at the sequence, by changing it to fun, there's this really cool thing that happens. Now, most people would know that. We know a little bit about this because, again, I co-produced the sequel, and so do my fellow teachers. We went, fun is an abundance everywhere you go. And if you're having fun because you choose to feel that experience, this thing changes objectively how you see the world. And people who aren't wanting or choosing to have fun literally move away from you instantaneously. There's no conflict. You don't have to go, well, you need to do it this way. There's no justification. There's no rationalization. There just is. And all of a sudden you're like, we've been really making this so hard, haven't we?
We make it so hard. I agree.
Bloody hell.
And it's just to have fun, as you say, raise your vibration, look for stuff that make you feel good. Whatever that is, there are no rules to that.
Who cares, right? And we say who cares, but we still, as you so eloquently said, we haven't really clicked in to what the alignment is. Because again, we're still locked in mind, body, spirit, generally. Once you flip that around, you can instantly feel within seconds, I'm having fun. Not from a judgment of someone else's experience or the group or whatever you're experiencing externally. You. And if you're not having fun, that's the free will. That's the moment. Are you going to truly choose your purpose, your choice, your feelings, or are you going to keep rehypnotizing yourself to fit into a group, an experience, an ideology, whatever, commonly called the pillars? And that moment of choice, that's all you. That's it. Absolutely. It doesn't have to get any more complex than that. Now we take that formula and we start applying it to sales and company culture and how do we reach people and how do we grow a brand? But again, fun. Because if it's not the theme park of transition, then you're going to get stuck in the same idolization of yourself.
Absolutely.
And then you're going to have to crack that. Yeah, you're going to have to crack that again until your soul purpose shows up. Yep.
So tell me, what is the one thing that everyone already has, but rarely use to grow their business?
Oh, very simple. It's fun combined with passion. Because see, if you gamify it in a fun way, which we do it through archetypial. How does that mean? Well, we have a very distinct way of looking at the archetypes. We've got 20 years of experience working with at-risk youth, because that's the bottom line. And one of our teachers, Aaron Huey, who is phenomenal at archetypial symbology and the application of it in a high pressure situation, because when you were dealing with at-risk youth, you're kind of the last line of defense. And he was for 20 years running a residential center, one of the top ones in the United States. And at that point, that the child really only has a couple of outcomes. One, recovery, and the family too, or, jail, or in some cases, death. And that's where you really have to be able to connect with someone, bam, through their trauma. We use archetypial symbology as a way to do it. And the system that was designed and experienced, we say, okay, let's start with the basics. We're going to talk about your 4 prime archetypes. You're going to show up as a warrior, a wizard, a bard, or a jester. You're all 4, We all are, because you're a whole and sovereign being. You're just choosing to show up as, one of these ones you lean on.
You are never
What
just
does that
one
really
thing.
mean? Yeah, you get comfortable with it, and we don't balance ourselves, and next thing you know, we're kind of doing the same thing over and over again, commonly called pattern behavior. So when you have it from a fun way, you can go, you know what? I'm showing up as a warrior today, and people think warrior, as an example, hypnosis means fight. That I'm going to go fight, I'm going to slay the dragons, I'm going to bring home the bacon. Yeah, okay, I get that's what you think it means from the ideology, but the actual symbology of the warrior is the heart. It's the passion. It is the doer in us. It is the one that has the activity driver because it's powered by the heart. And I don't mean just the physical heart, I mean the emotional heart driver. So when you connect that way, you go, oh, okay, today's about heart for me and getting things done. Then I see somebody else, and literally by asking 2 questions, you can know exactly how they're showing up, because they'll tell you. The minute I come out and say, hi, by the way, I'm showing up as a jester today, but you'll understand what it means, and you can shift so that you can connect, because you too are a jester, and it helps you exercise who you are and explore you. Now, finding out down here becomes expressive as opposed to archaeological. I've got to go dig this out and find my trauma and do all. Yeah, but it happens easy. It's effervescence. It naturally wants to bubble up. We are a natural healer of ourselves. We don't let ourselves heal.
Oh, so I want to ask you, my audience is more coaches and experts and
Cool.
solopreneurs, or maybe a small team. So what is the best tip that you can give them? Or even if it's 3 tips or whatever, from small, how to grow their business?
Yeah, we can do it all. I can do more. I'll take you through 60 steps if you want to. We'll go through the quest, and because again, it's an app. So we've done 3 things that ideologically you're not supposed to do in our line of work. We have combined all of our entertainment skills and backgrounds, all of our Emmy producing, award-winning, because we're doing it because it's storytelling, right? Let's go on an adventure. What a concept, right? 2, we've taken all of our educational background, we slammed the 2 together so that as you're going on an adventure, you're learning in a fun way, because we all remember learning through school. School sucked, right? We didn't want to go to school. We wanted to go play. Let's cut the crap. Let's just call it what it is. After about 4th grade, we didn't give a crap about it. We wanted to go play. We wanted to go hang out with our friends. That's why recess and lunch were these experiences we looked forward, but then we had these hours of other stuff we didn't really care about. So we unwind that immediately. And the 3rd thing is we made it price point impossible. It's $2 a month, and you get the whole thing. You get all the templates, you get everything you need to start your business, grow your culture, literally in metaphoric terms, reclaim your throne in your truth alignment for your company, for your business, whether you're a coach, trainer, teacher, expert, although I've never met an expert, but whatever that means. I used to think I was one, and I realized I'm an expert at nothing. I'm just an expert in fun. And even that's debatable. And so when you come to that realization, we take you through the whole journey. So now as a coach or a solopreneur or a small company, small cap, medium cap, and you're seeking to grow, it becomes about what is the real business you're in? That's the first question. And every coach is going to tell me, well, I help, women, empowered women. I help the men's group, or I help with, working with relations. I'm like, that's great. That's not the business you're in, though. That's what you do as a process, but that's not the business you're in. We're all in the same business. And until we really owned that and fall in love again with it in a most unique way, it's going to be a little bit of a grind. And that's, you're in the people business. There's no other business to be in. I myself personally, one of my big influences in my life, believe it or not, was P.T. Barnum from Barnum and Bailey Circus. And I was influenced by that about the age of 13. And also Dr. Dennis Waitley, The Psychology of Winning, were the 2 things that really started me on my path as a young teenager. And I went, wait a minute. Why does learning have to be a drag? Why do I have to go and get all this education, right? Like all these, Dr. Fox, got a letter, and you're great, but I'm educated, but I'm life stupid. I have no idea what I'm doing. It makes no sense. It's not education. That's just repeating regurgitation. So learning and education are very different things. So once you realize how you show up and own it, warrior, wizard, bard, jester, I can immediately see how my clients show up, because I'm in the people business. I'm not in the coaching business. I'm not in the convincing business. I'm not in the, but I'll give you a package and let me give you my one-time offer and let me put you through the funnel and let me do all this other stuff. It dehumanizes your client. Now, I'm not saying you can't automate things and scale. Yes, the internet's a powerful thing, but for us who walk in this line of entrepreneurialism combined with, and then sometimes in conflict with, self-transformation as a process, we separate them.
Okay.
That's impossible by your own definition of your audience. Your audience cannot separate themselves from the business. They are the business. That's the challenge. But we put these two hats on and say, well, I'm going to go do my business now, and now I'm going to live my personal life. That means there's two of you. So now you have to manage twice as much as opposed to just being you. And then you come to this real realization, and every coach, myself included, we constantly remind ourselves at our own weekly meetings is, remember two things. It doesn't have to look the way you think it does. In fact, more often than not, it won't. In fact, the more you try to control the way you think it's going to look, the more the great universe, however you define that for your own personal journey, is going to give you a few wake-up calls that has nothing to do with what you think. Right. Get out of the way. Then the second one, obviously, is have fun. We've covered that. But then the third one, when you really look at it, is, okay, am I doing this for what? And this is where you get to own some of the things on the adventure, right? We call this the treasure box. And we got to own, am I doing it for the money and sounding like I'm for the people? Are you really in love with people? And I don't mean be in love that you give yourself in a codependent way, or you deplete yourself emotionally or vampirically, although that's happened, and we all go through that journey in some form or another. It's really understanding, wait a minute, if you don't know how you show up, how can you expect your clients to ever show up? Yes, you may get some results, but will you get transformation? Because remember, self-help helps you do the same thing over and over again. That's why it's called self-help. Help yourself to do the same crap. Well, self-transformation is a process, and every coach has a beautiful misfit mastership in that space. And everybody does it slightly differently, and it's going to resonate with a very different audience. And there's plenty of your audience. I mean, realistically, if you're a coach client, 100 people changes your life. 1,000 people changes your entire future. But we're always out there going, I need 1 million followers. I need a bazillion. I need to be this and to be that. And I'm like, you just need to be you. And that's when it brings you to the realization.
To be you, yes. And of course, working with coaches myself and helping them to create really transformational courses for them. That is, of course, really, it brings the transformation home, because I really believe in not just, people don't want information. They can get that on the internet. They want transformation. And it's very important to look at for my clients, to, when they build courses, to look at the patterns that their clients are having. What are the common beliefs they're having? What is keeping them stuck? And of course, then to work out the processes of how to help them, whether it's one-on-one or in a group. All right. So the last question is a tip, 1 or 2 or 3, to make sales easy. To make sales easy simple for the solopreneur.
Yeah, simple. Just ask your client a question. What makes you successful? And shut up. Stop talking. Listen. Because in that sequence of that question, you're going to find out both their conflict, where they're getting in their own way, but you're also going to find out what they're passionate about instantaneously. And I say this, the thousands of coaches and architects and archetypal we've run through the quest, and people have gone through, all of its predecessorial experiences, that becomes the most common thing. Coaches get into convincing.
Yes, like, they do. They start coaching.
I'm like, right. I'm like, well, you need this coaching, and this is why I'm great, and this is why they suck, and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, stop. Everything you just did was about you. No offense, but no one cares. That's not what your experience of your client is about. I'm not talking about dehumanizing yourself or devaluing yourself. I'm talking about shut up and listen, because most coaches don't listen very well. In fact, and I'm not talking about effective listening, because that sounds really cool, or just, I'm talking about listen on all 3 levels, conscious, subconscious, and emotional simultaneously, because they're already happening. The question is, are you willing to tune in? The question is, are you willing to tune in? And if you know how to do it and you're in love with it and it's fun, well, now all of a sudden you're going to have more clients you know what to do with. You're going to increase sales. And guess what? You're going to stop selling.
Yeah.
Because nobody likes to sell. I don't give you. I've been a master sales trainer for 20 years. Guess what? I've trained corporations by name. I won't even bother naming them, because who cares? Here's the deal. I walked in. First thing I say is, who likes sales? No hands go up. I'm like, but you guys call yourselves salespeople, right? So by definition, no one wants to be sold anything, but we want to be invited. We want to go, that sounds like an adventure to be a part of. And we want an experience, because we understand here it's about experience. And if we're not willing to experience it ourselves, How dare we ask our clients to experience something we don't? We commonly call you can't reflect what you don't know experientially. So you fall in love with that experience. The tip becomes, who am I? The warrior, wizard, bard, jester. You can go to our website. It's a free psychological personality typing based on your own answers. It'll tell you you're showing up as a warrior. You come back the next day, you might show up as a bard. But you start to learn how you're showing up. Now all of a sudden that's fun. Why? Because we used to play dress up as a kid. We used to play make believe. Well, when you turn your fantasies into reality, which is what the law of attraction is, the law of manifestation is, life experience is, when you understand that the fantasy is a part of what you're creating, it turns into a reality and you overlap the two together. Now you're on the adventure of a lifetime. Now all of a sudden you get to be present. What a concept in your own life and your clients, because your clients go, there's something different about you. You know, I've talked to other coaches, I've gone to other experiences, but I just connect with you. Great. Because you're being, and then you come to the final truth. And this is the last thing I would leave everybody with. Stop trying to be a better you. It is the ultimate rabbit hole of illusion. There is no better you. That's not possible. There's just you. Finally give yourself permission and the blueprint to just be you. Have fun exploring you, how you show up and how your clients show up. And now all of a sudden it's an adventure and you're willing to do the things that you weren't willing to do and make the calls and do the social post and then build your funnels, but you're building them from the experience of I'm enjoying this because I choose this. Now your clients go, I resonate with you, or I resonate with you. And it's not about competition because you're going to hold your resonant to where you choose to hold it. Your clients will show up automatically because they're looking for that same vibration.
They're looking for the vibration.
Yeah.
But talking about looking, where can people find you?
On planet Earth as of now, but I'm thinking about moving somewhere else. You know, you can do two things. You can go to the website was myquestapp.com. That's myquestapp.com. Or you can download the Ultimate Business Quest directly in Apple and Google stores. Again, it's $2 a month for everything. It's all included. There's no upsells. There's no, but wait, there's more. It's all just slammed in there because our ideology was we're in a world time place. The high ticket thing is great, and we have that too. But how about we give people, it's up to me, I'm going to give you value. I'm just going to give you everything. You let me know if you want more of that because I packed everything I can, 9 hours built into this journey, this adventure, this story. So you don't have to watch, you know, whatever you're watching online, you know, whatever that TV experience is. Stop, go on a different adventure, go on your own, rebuild your company, rebrand yourself, understand who you are for this chapter. And now you have a blueprint to wash, rinse, and repeat how you want to apply it. And have fun doing it and make it so that it isn't about money, it's about fun. And when we make business fun again, we'll do it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's really been so informative. And yes, we need to bring fun back in our lives, in our business. And I hope everyone has enjoyed this interview with Dr. Travis as much as I have. And remember to leave us your comments, subscribe and share all alike to your friends, and I'll put the links in the description below. Thank you, thank you, thank you.